All right. So I'm not a doctor. I've never even played one on TV. So just know you should always see a professional if you're feeling really, in the danger zone. Okay. But some hacks, and I'm just going to use the words anxiety and depression just to make it easy on everybody, since I feel like the world lets us know what those things are. But don't feel like you have to label yourself as anxiety or having depression. But when you're on like the low swing, we'll call that depression just for ease of conversation. What that is that's when you feel like that you are the number one person in your universe, right? It's like being the worst best friend where you're like, everything is about that girl or that guy. Nothing is about anybody else. That's how it is when you're depressed. Everything is about you. You can't actually get out of yourself. You cannot get out of your own way. You're in what I like to call the shit ditch, which means you're down in the stinky ditch. And the more you try to climb yourself out of it, the more the shit falls on you and it just gets worse, right? And so what that is like you're too internal. So a life hack for when you're feeling depressed is to go external. And that might mean something really as simply as letting some skin show. So wearing a V-neck or like a tank top, so that you actually feel the sensory experience of air on your skin, or walking outside in the cold. Obviously, don't like pull like a go out naked in the snow situation, but feel different, the cool breeze on your skin. Make sure that you take a chance to like look around you, go on a nature walk, go outside of yourself or help someone. That's another really big thing. Do some sort of service that helps you put yourself in someone else's shoes to get you out of yourself. Because depression, the shit ditch, it's all about you. It's very hard to get out of yourself. So look for opportunities to engage. Call someone, although I know it's hard to do that. Take a walk, make eye contact, commune with an animal, hug a tree, commune with nature. Do things that help open up your chest. So for instance, I'm on a chair here. So a yoga pose, a real simple yoga pose, is you can lean yourself back on a chair and open up your heart, right? Or take a twist. You can take your one arm. Look, I'm sweating because I'm nervous. I'm talking in front of people. Sweat. That's anxiety, guys. So you can have your arm on a door jamb and kind of walk through the door jamb to help open up your chest, right? Either side. You can interlace your hands behind your back. Stuff that helps you come out of that hunched, which is how you are when you're in the shit ditch. You're just hunched down, be like, I don't want anything to fall on me, right? Anxiety. That's the one that tends to be my best friend personally. Sometimes the depression comes in there, but anxiety is my BFF, been my friend for a real long time. And so what anxiety is it's sort of like animals that are afraid of thunderstorms. And then you put that thunder shirt on them. If you've ever seen that, it's like a thing that makes them all snuggled tight, or like gravity blankets, right? Anxiety is when there's too much stimulus coming in, right? I often, when I hear my friends talk about their autistic children, I feel like somewhere in there, that's me, because I freak out from too much stimulus, because anxiety is too much stimulus that you're creating on yourself. So then if there's any external stimulus on top of that, like loud noises, too much visual, whatever, it like short circuits me, right? So one of the things to combat anxiety, when you have too many thoughts, when you can't go to sleep, when you're jittery in your body, because sometimes you're anxious in your mind, but depressed in your body. That's when you're like lethargic, but your brain is going. We can be one thing in our body and a different thing in our minds, right? That's variety. It's the spice of life, guys. But with anxiety, it's the opposite. You want to damper down stuff coming in. So a hack for me is I usually always have a hoodie on. Obviously, you can see I'm sweating my ass off, so I don't have a hoodie on right up here, but take a hoodie, put it over your head, kind of tighten it up, zip it up. It's sort of like horse blinders. It allows you to feel snuggled in, a little weight on your belly. So if you're laying down on the couch, a weighted blanket, a pillow, dogs are really good for that. Cats are really good for that. Laying across your belly, a sense of weighted, like the gravity to the floor, getting close to the floor, grounding down into nature, and turning off extra stimulus, whatever that is. Maybe don't have music on all the time. Maybe don't have TV on all the time. Again, you want to commune with nature and everything like that, but it can feel overwhelming to have too many things going on at the same time. So do your best to pretend that you are like a dog in a thunderstorm, and get your thunder shirt on, whatever kind of comforting things to help damper down the experience of sensation. And yogically or posturally, because it doesn't really have to be like quote unquote yoga, you want to hunker down. So rounded things, right? So like cat pose feels really good. Or when you have your soles of your feet together and you press your forehead down on a block, that feels really good. Or just laying down to go to sleep on your belly can feel really good. Any pose or child's pose, that's a popular one that I think most people know what that is. Anything where you're sensory, putting a blanket and just kind of like hunkering down. And then one last tidbit I will leave you with, which is a tiny little breath hack. The inhales in the body are nourishing and uplifting, right? And the exhales are very releasing. And so if you're having anxiety, I recommend trying to lengthen your exhale. So let's just say you inhale for 2 to 3 breaths. We'll just say that. Try to double that, right? So try to exhale for 4 to 6 breaths, right? So you're inhaling for 2 or 3, let's just say roughly, and exhaling from 4 to 6. So you're lengthening and focusing on that exhale. And the inhale, if you're feeling depressed, maybe work on lengthening that, because that's like the nourishing, enlivening part. So you'll inhale, say for 4 to 6, and you'll exhale for a shorter amount of time. And then it's like me, sometimes you don't even know what you need because you're like, oh gosh, I think I'm depressed and anxious. Then just try to lengthen equally the amount of time you're inhaling and exhaling, right? So a good way to remember this is inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit. So you exhale longer when there's a lot of bullshit going on that's making you feel anxious. And you inhale the good shit. That's all that energy, all that positive stuff. That's an easy way to remember that little breath hack. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. If you identify as having anxiety and depression, you should feel good that at least you're at the beginning part of the stage where you're acknowledging that it's happening to you. I would say 80 to 90% of the population on the planet feels this way. And not all of them feel brave enough to say that they feel this way. So you are not alone. You do not need to feel stigmatized. You have a deep wisdom inside you. You're a deep feeler. The key is to have all those things happen, but with safety, without going out of that range where you feel like you are unsafe to yourself or others, or that you can't get out of it by yourself. Okay. So please know we're all here to reach out. Most of my classes have an element of this kind of deep sharing in it. Some of the postures I talk about, I always throw it in because it's a part of my daily life. I've suffered from this my entire life. So it always is a little bit in all of my classes, but not necessarily focused 100% on that. But all of my classes are about making everybody feel like they belong and that no one is left out, regardless of age, race, skill, feelings, that however you come to your mat is exactly how you should be. You do not need to be anything special. You do not have to bring your lavender, Gwyneth Paltrow, Oprah vibes to my class. You can bring your big old vibes of whatever you're feeling, including like F this. You can bring that to the mat. And the idea is to transform those feelings and not get rid of them, right? Because they make you who you are. Part of who you are these feelings that you're having. And so we need to honor that too.